Sully, how are you today?
What's happening, bud? Sorry, we're a little bit late. We ran a little bit long with John Stone, but it was fun talking to him. I don't know if do you remember covering him much when he was in high school in the late '90s?
No, but at that point in time, I was still working for. At that time, it was the Gloucester County Times. So
oh, gotcha. Okay.
I wasn't down that way, but as long as it wasn't McGarry stealing my time, we're good.
He was a little slow on the take today. We got him before 9 a.m. So he's like, hey, next week after 9.
There you go.
So what's happening, man? You got some big news you're going to drop on us here? Or you're going to keep us waiting for another week?
No, I think what I'll put it this way. People that I have talked to and people in the business that I know, this should come really as no surprise because I've said this for years.
Hold on, do we need a drum roll or what? What is it that big?
Well, if you want a drum roll, that's fine with me. If he can, if he wants to.
I don't know if Cole can find that. Cole's okay. Like, no, I'm not looking around for a drum roll.
That's okay. Well, basically, what it comes down to, Sully, is this. I've been throwing around this idea in my head for quite a long time, and I've always thought that South Jersey high school sports was a gold mine, and I've said it. I've told many people before all about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm venturing out on my own at this point, and if I still have a few things that have to be ironed out, but hopefully beginning on Wednesday, if not maybe a day or two later next week, I'm going to introduce South Jersey to SJVarsity.com. I'm going to be starting my own website. My goal is to bring, essentially to bring the sports page to anybody who wants it. And it's going to be a subscription-based website. It'll be extremely inexpensive. We're going to bring, my goal is to do all of the things I've done in the past and more and bring it to this website. And, hopefully people will get on board and, get back to reading the things that I have done. Enough people have told me that they thought it was a great idea. And, enough people have basically really told me that they enjoyed what I did. So I'm going to take a little bit of a leap. I'm going to go out on my own for a little while, at least to start with. And we're going to put the SJVarsity.com out there for, whoever's interested in reading all about high school sports in South Jersey.
Awesome, man. I like it. I'll be a subscriber for sure.
Yeah, it's the way the industry is going. People have said, why should I have to pay for it? I've never paid for it, and I think if you look around at most websites now, they'll give you a few free things, but they're going to throw you behind a paywall.
Right.
And it's going that way. And my thought is, if you're willing to spend X amount of dollars for a newspaper nowadays, then I think you'll be able to spend even less than a cup of coffee, really, for a week's worth of coverage. Get stories, stats, standings, all the little things, that people are so used to reading. I'm going to do my very best to include on this website. So, I think what we'll do is we'll probably offer the first week or so for free and allow people to take a look at it and see what it's all about. And then after that, we're gonna put them up behind a paywall, a subscription-based site for a year. And I see people will go out and spend money on far more and get far less. So, I think the subscription rate right now, I haven't locked it in, but I'm about 99% certain it will be $39.95 for the year. And if you map that out, that's like 80 cents a week. So I think it's going to be a bargain. I'm going to, like I said, my goal is to provide South Jersey readers and those associated with South Jersey people, because obviously you can, if you live across the country, you can still look at it, to have an opportunity to read about South Jersey sports and get the information out there. So that's the big news. This is not something I've I've thought about, just recently. I mean, I've been thinking about this thing for quite a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's going to be a real gold mine to explore, and I think people will enjoy it, and will get the most out of it.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said, Kevin, about being your own boss when you've been in this business for a long time. I spent about 15, 17 years in the newspaper business, much like yourself. And one of the things I didn't like about being in the business was I always felt like my creativity was kind of bottled up and hamstrung. And when I did decide to go out on my own, obviously I'd gotten laid off by the Press of Atlantic City and Daily Journal before that. So I was kind of in that repetitive layoff stage where I wasn't high enough on the ladder to really keep a job for a long time because I was one of those mid-level salaries that's easy to cut. So I just said, hey, I know I can do this myself. I can do it better myself. And it's really liberating to kind of be able to just do whatever you want and write how you want. And you hope people respond, and they have to Glory Days, and I'm sure they will to your new venture.
Yeah, to find a job in this industry anymore that will be able to, pay a salary and support your family or whatever is becoming very difficult to do. And, not that I didn't have other opportunities for some things, but, I thought, there was no better time for me to try to do this. And, I've had numerous people I've discussed this with, and, a gentleman who's kind of my a consultant for me, and everyone I've spoken to about this idea in general has been very favorable. It's been a very positive thing. So, like I said, I'm going to do what I've done in the past. I'm going to try to I could add some things, and I'm my own boss, and I'll write what basically I can write. I write what I want to write, and if people like it, great. If they don't, that's great also. But, I want to throw this out there, give people an opportunity to read about South Jersey high school sports and get it from maybe a different perspective than they're used to, and at a very, very reasonable rate. So I think, like I said, it's a few things still to iron out in this next week or two. But, our goal is to try to get this thing up and going by midweek next week and take it from there.
Well, I'll tell you a quick funny story, Kevin. I guess it was probably about a year and a half ago. I see all you guys around at all these games, all the different reporters from the South Jersey outlets, and I forget who it was, but somebody said, "Hey, Sully, you own any clothes that don't say Glory Days on them?" And it was a little bit of a good-hearted jab at me, but I'm thinking, hey, I'm proud of what I do. I'm always trying to promote what I do, and it shows the passion I have for what I'm doing. And if you bring that passion to the table, I think people will respond because they're so passionate about the high school sports. And when they see a reporter that's that passionate about it, a guy like McGarry, a guy like yourself, who've been doing it for years and years and know the ins and outs and can provide great information and great insight, they're going to respond. I don't think you have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of people have said, and I got to give you some credit for helping me out with this too, and enabling me to be on the radio each week and kind of get my voice out in that way. And I hope we continue to do that. And,
definitely,
and get involved in, maybe get involved in some projects here and there down the line. But like you said, people love, and you've mentioned it before, and we've talked about it, how people love when they see their kids' names in the paper or now on the internet, and how much they appreciate when you come to their events and write about different things that they're doing. And to do what we do in this day and age, you have to be passionate about it. You have to more or less you have to love what you do, because we all know in this business that we're not going to be millionaires doing the things that we do, but we can bring content, we bring stories, we bring things to people that are not going to get it anywhere else. And if we don't do it, they're never going to see it. So, like you said, the passion for me to do this is there. If I wasn't enthusiastic and passionate and determined in what I do and how I feel about South Jersey and high school sports, then I would have never contemplated even thinking about this. I'd be out there still looking for a full-time job, which I'm kind of still doing. But like you said, if people can see the passion and the understanding and and what I'm trying to bring to the table, I think they'll jump on board. And I don't think they'll jump on board just because it's a cheap price. I think they're going to get a lot of quality information, a lot of stories, a lot of things that they're going to enjoy reading. And we're going to kind of start small, and we're going to take small steps at the beginning. But our ultimate goal is to really see this thing blossom down the line.
And Kevin, we're talking with Kevin Minnick, South Jersey high school sports expert. And Kevin, one of the things that's really neat about what I do, and I hear this a lot, is from kids I interview after the games. They're like, "Man, that was the first time I've ever gotten interviewed after a game." And it's no knock on the press or the Courier Post, the Current, or anything like that. There's just so much volume in terms of the number of high schools in South Jersey, and I've been able to kind of fill a little bit of a niche here and there, and give some recognition to some kids who maybe just didn't get in the press for whatever reason, or the Current, or the Courier Post, and that kind of thing. And it's really neat to see how the families react. We've talked about this before, where you'll be interviewing a kid who maybe never got interviewed before, and the mom's right there at the sideline taking a picture and sharing that on Facebook. Look, my son or daughter's in the news. It really it does energize the fan base.